Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Welcome back to LGBT with Tiffany. I'm so excited. Almost speechless. The vaccine, the COVID vaccine that we all should be getting, made me a little bit sleepy. So we have this little morning after look. And yeah, we're going to rock right on with it. So of course, welcome to LGBTs with Tiffany. This is the show where we get to know some of your favorite faculty member. It is sponsored by the Oh my goodness, let me take a breath. There we go. It's sponsored by the Mark David LGBTQ Center here at CCP. And I'm so excited to be interviewing these next two people. And of course, my name is Tiffany Uma Mascara. Pronouns are she and her. And so first up, we have Dr. Amy Burge Karakapa. She has been in higher education for almost 30 years. She earned a PhD in early African American literature in 1996 and has taught at CCP since 2003. In 2014, Amy started working as the coordinator of curriculum development for the college, assisting faculty in all the disciplines with creating and revising courses, certificates, and degree programs. Most recently, she spearheaded the general education revision that will be implemented in fall 2021. She has been involved in anti racism, LGBTQ rights, fat liberation, and statewide higher education initiatives for many years. Amy, her wife Maggie, and their four ridiculous cats live in Mount Airy. So, without further ado, give it up for Dr. Amy Burge. Hi,
Hello.
Amy.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here, Tiffany.
I'm so honored to have you. I'm so honored to have another anti-racism, LGBTQ, and also plus-size activists here. So I'm so excited to get to know you a little bit more and get into the tea about you. So, next up, we have joining us is John Joyce. John Joyce has been in higher education for nearly 30 years. He earned his MA in British and American Literature from New York University in 1992 and began teaching at the college in 1994. In addition to being an associate professor of English, he has co organized the study abroad program to Istanbul and well as served as the coordinator of liberal arts and liberal arts, social, and behavioral science programs in fall 2021. Joyce is teaching English 229Q, special topics in literature, LGBTQ literature, and in the early days of the AIDS crisis, Joyce volunteered for Action AIDS and MANA, participating in their benefit auctions and meal delivery programs in Center City and Camden, New Jersey. So without further ado, please welcome John Joyce.
Hey, Tiffany. Hey, Amy.
Hi.
Nice to see you both.
Likewise. So yeah, I'm so excited to have both of you here for this April version of LGBT with Tiffany. Since I gave y'all a little bit of a bio about both of our little both of our guests today, I want to also give y'all an opportunity to introduce yourselves just with your name, zodiac sign, and favorite junk food. Just kind of break the ice a little bit. So we can start with Amy.
So my name is Amy Burge Karakapa, and my zodiac sign is Aries. I'm a classic Aries. I will organize everything, put it in the correct boxes, and keep it maintained. That's who I am. My favorite junk food, I had to consult my wife on that because I wasn't sure that I like so many things. She says, no. Your go-to is smart food, popcorn. If not that, salt and vinegar, Pringles. And if not that, Twix bars. So there it is.
Word.
All right. John Joyce, he, him pronouns. Libra, classic Libra. I'm like smack in the middle of Libra. Balance, beauty, all this stuff. Indecisive. Like it's totally me. So so I'm Libra. Junk food, this was easy actually, and I have the fillings to prove this. It's that old school kind of like movie candy, the big boxes, like Good and Plenty, Mexican Hats, Mike and Ike's, and Juicy Fruit. I have so many fillings from Juicy Fruit. So, and CVS now sells these in really big boxes for $1.99. And the CVS near me lately, it's been like 6 boxes for $5. So I've been like cleaning up. So yeah.
We love a good candy. We love a good movie theater. We just don't like the movie theater prices. Well, so I guess I should, yeah. So also once again, my name is Tiffany Uma Mascara. My zodiac sign is a Cancer. I am a classic Cancer, but have Libra in my chart. So that's worked. And my favorite junk food would have to be chips. I do love a good crunch. I like a good salt. Um, so yes, that would be my favorite junk food. So moving right along, we're just gonna go ahead and ask you some questions about what you do at CCP, dive a little bit more into that, and really just unpack what y'all all about. So the first question is, how would you describe what you do at CCP in your own words? And we can start with John. So we start with Amy.
Okay. In my own words. Okay. Like ostensibly, or I guess maybe nominally, I'm in the English department, but that's like, I think a third of what I do, maybe a fourth of what I do. So I teach a lot of like the basics, English 101, public speaking, English 115, which is like strangely wildly popular during the pandemic online. Yeah. And thanks for I put the shameless plug for my English 299Q course in the fall. So, and if anyone in chat wants to add some suggestions, that would be great. Okay. Largely, I think most of my time is like Amy and I developed actually the first year experience course for the college. So I kind of oversee that. It's usually like about 15 sections a semester. I teach a lot of that. Liberal arts keeps me really, really busy. I don't know. I see all three of those as like kind of connected, like student success. Do you know what I mean? There's ways at the institutional level to make sure students succeed, and then in the classroom as well as kind of like the individual relationships that I have with students. So I think that's a lot of what I do.
Okay, as coordinator of curriculum development, I work with faculty from all over the college to create, revise all kinds of curriculum. So courses, programs, certificates, all of those kinds of things. And because I work with faculty from all over the college, I really have this great experience with all kinds of courses, with everything from literature, which is where I come from because I'm also faculty in the English department, to diagnostic medical imaging, to business leadership, to so I have I get to work with a lot of people. I also work with faculty when it comes to larger curriculum changes. So things like guided pathways, general education. I really am more than anything a facilitator. I really work to get all of the right people in the room so that we can do more collaborative work to make things, to literally make things, courses, etc., that really work for our students.
Love that. I think one of the greatest things about doing this show and like interviewing some of the faculty at CCP is just learning about like how involved you all are with and how involved you are about making sure the students are involved, about like creating courses, creating different material for the students. So like it's kind of like the students are like creating their own curriculum, and that's really like, I mean, I had a really bad college experience, so it's great to hear that there is somewhere doing the stuff that I wish my college did. So, speaking of the education and creating courses, since both of you have worked in education for nearly 3 decades, I want to know what has changed the most in academia in the past 30 years.
I hope Amy goes first for this one.
So I've been thinking about this a lot, and there have been a lot of changes in academia over the last 30 years. But I think the biggest one is that I feel like academia, particularly higher education, is it's less requiring people to fit into the higher education box, and it's more about making changes within higher education so that people can grow and do important things within higher education. So I feel like my, like coming up, I really felt like I had to be, especially as a queer woman, a fat queer woman of color, like I really felt like I had to fit myself into a particular kind of way of being, like a very specific, like this is what an English professor does, and this is what an English professor knows. And like I had to fit myself into this kind of ready-made mold. And I'm seeing less and less of that. I'm seeing, because of diversity, equity, inclusion, because of these things, a real like breaking open of those molds, which frankly are often really tired and not particularly helpful for anyone. So I'm seeing this real transformation in what higher education means and what academia means, who it serves, and how it does it.
Work.
Yeah, and to build on what Amy said, I mean, I agree with everything that she's saying there. I've seen the past 30 years, I mean, I'll just use CCP because I've been here for 26 years, forever. You know, it seems to become more, it's more student-centered now. Do you know what I mean? It's increasingly, and by that, I know that's like a buzzword and it's thrown around a lot, but I've really seen the college really step up and kind of wrap around the whole student, you know, and this idea, yeah, it's the academics is really important. Getting students through these academic programs is really important, but considering the whole student, you know, the emotional aspect, you know, the developmental aspect, students feeling comfortable, students feeling safe. And I think I've seen higher ed, especially CCP, really deliver when it comes to this and actually implement this formally and structurally, which is really important. Because a lot of us have done it in our classrooms, you know what I mean? And we've done it, you know, individually with students in conversations, but it's really nice to see, you know, this done at an institutional level. So I think we need to work on the financial package a little bit more, but I think that's higher ed in general. But I do see where we're also moving in that direction as well, too, you know, so. And I don't mean like us finances, us doing a bad job. It just needs to be paid for. Like they cannot get in this debt, you know, so yeah. But at least we're talking about it now. At least we're talking about it now. So
yeah, absolutely. I think that so I went to a school that was a little bit old-fashioned. So I definitely did see the change because I took one class at CCP and I just immediately saw the change and immediately saw the difference of like how one college is kind of like stuck in their old ways, like, oh, the old ways work, so we're not going to change it. Or like no one has brought it up to us, so we're not going to change it. Whereas CCP is like constantly always looking for feedback, recommendations, and just like input from the students. So yeah, I love that. That is a change that it wasn't something that I just saw. It's something that is seen like worldwide throughout the different educators in the higher education world. So I heard that prior to the Mark David LGBTQ Center opening, LGBTQ faculty members were offering programs like safe space trainings and even started the first LGBTQ conference on campus. Can you tell us what LGBTQ programming and services looked like on campus before the center opened? Feel free to name drop any faculty deserving of praise as well.
John, you want to take that?
Yeah, because mine's kind of quick. You know, you have something with the conference you can actually talk about. It's been a little kind of ad hoc and I was going to say sketchy, but it's not sketchy. Sorry. It's been ad hoc and kind of infrequent. So there was a club back in the day, you know, and it was an adjunct actually who ran the club. And I think it was the gay and lesbian club. And this is maybe like the turn of the century for that one. There's a gay straight student alliance, that club as well. I don't know how healthy that enrollment is. The safe space training, I don't know. I suddenly saw all these stickers on people's doors and I seem to miss that training, but I just always thought my well-appointed office kind of screamed safe space. So get in here. Okay. You know, so I kind of missed that, but yeah. So it's been, I think there's been a lot of us as faculty members who informally mentor students. And I think that's probably the most that's been done at the college up until like a few years ago. So
I would echo what John just said. And I really felt like back in the earlier days, like I sort of rainbowed up I put rainbows on myself, on my keychain, on everything, so that at least if a student saw that and they needed to flag me in the hallway, they could do that. And they have answered a few questions and talked to people and helped people get to the next place on the fly because of that. Because it was so ad hoc, I think because of that. So the first LGBTQ conference that we did, in a lot of ways, it was a great experience. I worked with people like Allison Watts and Aiden Pashesha, and then there were like all of the members of the advisory committee back then, Mike Krasolski, Claudia Curry. I'm not remembering everybody, but there were some really great people. And the conference itself, I think, was well attended, and we had some really great speakers. We had Amber Hikes at that conference. We had Dante Austin at that conference. We had students come and speak. I think it was great. I think one of the kind of the drawbacks, though, was that conference was kind of arranged and planned not with LGBTQ voices at the center, and certainly not with student LGBTQ voices at the center. Yeah. So we had a lot of good information and we learned about all kinds of great stuff, but I think we really needed that sort of centralizing of LGBTQ voices to really make it work. And that happened with Vincent, and they've just transformed it. So yes, William Miller.
Yes, absolutely right.
Thank you.
Work.
Thanks. Absolutely right.
That's so great and like just amazing to hear that. Like, I just know that there's a lot of places that wait till like these centers or divisions open up before start doing anything. So it's really nice to just hear that even though the Mark David LGBTQ Center was not open, that there was still, you know, some events or like just some spaces that were safe for the LGBTQ community. So speaking of the LGBTQ community, we're hopping right on along. So you both do activism and advocacy work for marginalized communities outside of your job at CCP, including the LGBTQ community. And so my question is, what gives you hope about the next generation of activists? And what advice would you give them / me? I'm very interested in this question.
I'm going to jump in. So this is going to sound like I'm answering the same question from before. The thing that gives me hope is that I see so many people, particularly leaning in to issues of intersectionality, like leaning into that. I think that's amazing. But the main thing is that I see people who just refuse to fit the molds, who just refuse to speak the way society expects them to speak and act the way society expects them to act. And it is thrilling. It is thrilling. And, you know, as a person who is over 50, I spent a lot of my time, like I said, trying to fit into certain boxes. And it is so amazing to see the way that the way things can change when people really are completely themselves and take those brave steps. So that's something that I think is really that gives me a lot of hope.
I totally agree with Amy. And what's been really refreshing, and I say really the last maybe decade or even the last 8 years, it has stepped up where people are truly authentically themselves. They walk in the classroom announcing who they are. Yes. And it's just amazing just by walking in and sitting down. I teach lots of public speaking, like I said, and it's like this, and you know, they're allowed to do whatever topic they want. They just have to follow the rules, you know, the guidelines, you know, not for structure. And this is what they all talk about, you know, so, you know, gender variance and fluidity and identification. And there's just, it's just beautiful. And honestly, as someone, again, who's over 50, you know, I see this generation, especially Gen Z, there's no such thing as the closet that just had so much shame and paralysis and really thwarted and twisted people's emotional growth. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, this whole big idea of coming out is just not a big deal. You know, so there's just all of this that I think is extremely, extremely hopeful. And I'm just so glad we've gotten to this place. You know, it's been really, really nice to see. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who decided that to break barriers at a college that was not accepting of that, I definitely know how that is walking into a room and automatically having like all eyes on you. There's even times where like me as, you know, just a trans woman of color is visible without even me speaking. Like I just walk into a room or everywhere I walk, like I'm super visible in my trans identity. And it's something I over the years that I used to hide, and then like now of course like I found my community, I found, you know, people who really support me and all those different things. So I was just like, why do I need to, you know, simmer down or like I guess mask myself in a sense when I already did that for so long of my like I didn't come out just to go back into a closet. Um so
Yeah.
yes, hearing that, you know, from y'all is really amazing. So yeah, I so there was a comment on the YouTubes saying, "Hi, John and Amy. Students love the two of your styles of teaching. After a few classes of John's introduction to theater, I was going to drop because I didn't like or want to tear the plays apart. Do you have
Oh,
any?
Bernadette. Hey, Bernadette.
You have a fan. We love it. Um,
Oh,
yeah. So that was just wanted to point that out and just give you know a
oh,
little bit of praise that
okay.
your teaching
Love you,
styles
Bernadette.
your teaching styles are amazing. So, moving right along, we ran through those questions. So now it's time to unwind and play a little game of
Okay.
LGBTQ trivia.
Wow.
So this is how it'll go. We'll show you a Jeopardy style LGBTQ trivia question on the screen, and I will read it out loud. The first person to raise their hand will have the first opportunity to answer. If they get it right, they get a point. If they get it wrong, the other player can steal by answering correctly, but answer wisely because each contestant only gets one guess. Winner will get some Mark David LGBTQ Center swag. And I will also say that previously at LGBTQ Tiffany's, LGBT at Tiffany's, we have uh, blended the rules a little bit. So just have fun with the trivia, you know, and yeah, may the best educator win.
Okay, so I'm relieved this trivia. I thought it was going to be like marry, shag, kill with the college family, and I was just like, no, I want to work here for a while. So the trivia is cool.
Yes, no, we are all here about education and knowledge here at
Oh, okay.
LGBT.
Okay.
Okay, so the first question is conceived in 1985 by activist Cleve Jones in San Francisco. This project is now so large that it has not been presented. Oh, John, can you go ahead, John? John, raise your hand first.
The AIDS quilt.
There we go. The AIDS Memorial
Memorial
Quilt.
quilt. Sorry.
Fun fact about that, I actually did a runway show in front of the A's Memorial Quilt where they just picked like just a couple of LGBTQ ballroom pioneers because I'm also in the ballroom scene, and we had to create our own clothes and also runway it. So yeah, little fun factors. Okay, the next question is started on July 4th, 1965. This annual tradition at Independence Hall in Philadelphia was combined with the Christopher Street Liberation Day just 5 years later on the first anniversary of Stonewall. Do we know what tradition?
This is embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. Independence Hall. Oh, this is terrible.
I know. I don't know this.
I don't know it either.
Okay,
I've
so
only lived in Philadelphia for 25 years.
I know. Revoked my card. I don't know this.
I know.
all right, so the answer is through the annual reminders.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay.
I also did not know this one. I'm also not originally from Philly. All these questions, except for the Ace Memorial quilt, is the only one I don't know. Okay. Next question is, this German city was home to the Institute of Sexology, where decades of medical research on the LGBTQ community, and specifically trans people, was destroyed by Nazi book burnings in 1933.
I think that's Berlin.
You are correct. Yes, it is Berlin. Fun fact as well. My mother is German, so we went to go visit my grandmother in Germany, and I went to so we visited like where they broke the wall down, and then also where they did the book burnings as well. So
That's cool.
yeah, it's Berlin has a lot of history that a lot of people don't know about, and I love it. Yeah. Okay, next question. Before it moved to its current location in Washington Square West, this Center City Park was originally known as the Gayborhood.
City Park. The park was known as the Gayborhood? Was originally?
Yeah, no. When I found out this answer, mind blown.
The park is what's throwing me too.
Yeah, the Park's Rome. I was gonna say the Fruit Loop, but sorry. That's something else. I don't. This Center City. Wait. No. I mean, there was the informal Judy Garland Park down by Schuylkill, but that's different.
So you're getting a little close.
Washington Square West.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. No, I don't know.
Okay, so the answer is Rittenhouse Square.
That seems so obvious. Oh yeah, okay.
No. See, just say it. That's no. I thought surely it's not.
No, when I found out, I was like, wait, really? Because when I first moved to Philly, everyone was hanging out at Rittenhouse Square, but we only called it Rittenhouse Square. We never called it the Gayborhood. So it was very little fun factual. So the winner, oh yes, home to the Spruce Street Boys, what they used to call them, apparently. So next question is, Natasha Lyonne, go ahead.
But I'm a cheerleader.
Yes!
I love that movie.
I'm in love with Natasha Lyonne.
She's great.
So much. I love
good. Yes. Okay, do we have another question? More?
Amy wins. Yay,
oh, Amy wins!
Yay!
Oh, congratulations, Amy. You will be receiving some Mark David LGBTQ Center swag. And yeah, so everyone, that concludes our show. I want to thank you so much for joining us. And a special thanks to Dr. Amy Burge Karakapa and John Joyce for being our guests today. It was honestly such an honor to be with people who have been streamlining and just been on the front lines for the activism of LGBTQ rights and also just anti-racism. So this is sadly our last event of the spring semester tier, but we will continue digital programming through the summer and into the fall. So please make sure that you follow CCP LGBTQ on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and use the links in our bio to join our LGBTQ student email list, so that way you know everything that is happening digitally or in person soon at CCP. Bye, everyone, and I hope to see you next semester.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.